Okay, we have a good one for you today. So, this is how I took two different businesses, both a brick and mortar and my information business, from 2 to 3K a month and upwards to 20K a month in revenue, both times coming from the bottom. Now we here. Pause, right? Now, so this is the harsh reality, right? If you own a business, and maybe you don't own a business and you're thinking about owning a business, this will be good for you. So watch this whole thing because you can hopefully both avoid the mistakes that I'm about to tell you that I made as a young entrepreneur and a less young entrepreneur, right? And then also, I'm going to give you some strategies here to completely make sure that you can avoid this for yourself and be able to scale and win in the marketplace, whatever that is. Okay, so now what I will first start off about the brick and mortar because if you don't know me, and you've never been to this channel before, when I was 23 years old, I opened up a brick and mortar location in a town that I had literally never been to a day in my life. Which a brick and mortar location is a place that you actually like have a shop and pay rent and have employees, right? People come for a service. It was a smoothie shop, right? A meal replacement smoothie shop. Maybe some of you guys know, maybe you know me from them. Either way, peace, love, and prosperity, right? But I opened up this shop at 23. Now, here's the craziest part about what happened to me when I opened the shop. So I moved to a town again. I knew nobody, and these are some of the things that I teach inside my program. But I did something what I call market siphoning, which is where I grew my Instagram by taking the customers and the attention of all the other business owners in the area who were already doing well, even though I didn't know anybody, even though I didn't know anything. And so the result of that was within the first 7 days of my soft opening, I made $9,000 profit, cash money. I mean, I'm gonna put up a picture of me with the money thing when I was an idiot, right? Because I had literally never made that much money before in my life. And I wanna bring up something here, and this is like one of the pitfalls number one. So if you're like me, don't be like me, right? When I Jim Rohn, who's one of my favorite mentors, talks about how if somebody were to hand you $1 million, best you become a millionaire. So you get to keep the money, is how he says it, right? And he says, because if you don't, sure enough, the money will end up back in the hands that of the people it belongs to. Now, again, when you have $0 in your bank account and you're tired of paying for shit and you don't know what's going on, all of these like simple, kind of generalistic advice on money and business can really rub you the wrong way. Like genuinely, I understand. It used to rub me the wrong way. I never understood that. I'm like, what do you mean? If somebody gives me $1 million, I would obviously be a millionaire. But what he means is that if you don't learn the principles and you don't have become the type of person who could attract $1 million naturally, then by default, your programming will force you literally. You lose your free will force you to start spending all that money on stuff that you've never had, you don't need, you don't want, and sure enough, you will not have the money. That's why people who win the lottery go broke, or NBA players or NFL players or people who start off right. They start off with the money mindset of nothing, and then they get handed millions and millions of dollars. And the thing is, they never had to change their mindset to do that, right? They were able to rely on their talents and their skills, and so that's how they got the money, right? But the people who do change their mindset, what happens to them? There's people who we probably never heard of. They were never actually like did anything in the league. They maybe made a couple $100,000 or a couple $1 million, and they were smart. They had a good money mindset, so they took that money, invested it, multiplied it, and turned it into a whole business. And so even though they never played, they ended up being millionaires for life from that one thing. Vice versa, there's people who never learned the money mindset, were some of the greatest players that we ever saw, made more money than any of these other people that we just talked about. But when the money stopped, when the check stopped, they had to only revert back to their mindset, and that was spend, 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 and they didn't know any way to multiply. They didn't protect themselves for the long run, and then what happens? They end up broke, right? So back to me. What did I do, right? Just like these guys, I got $9,000 cash, but then we did a soft opening because after 7 days, we were supposed to go to New Orleans for the first time. It was for a company training event for the company I was in at the time. It was my first time ever being in New Orleans. I had never had that much money in my pocket. So what did I do? I spent $6 bands in New Orleans over the course of like 4 days. I'm talking about whatever I wanted. I mean, I think I spent like $1,500 in parking alone. It was truly unbelievable how crazy the parking is in New Orleans. Maybe some of you guys are from New Orleans watching this. Bourbon Street is nuts. And a side note on that is I remember being on Bourbon Street is crowds of people. We're a little bit, under the influence. We're having a great time. All the daiquiris. We got to watch out for those if you guys go. And we're standing there, and it's like probably 10 o'clock at night. And it's so busy in this crowd of people that to the left, I hear like and I'm like, what is that? And it's a horse. I see a horse. I'm thinking, man, I'm really turned up. But then I look up, and on top of the horse is a police officer. And I don't know if any of you guys watching this video have ever seen a police officer on top of a horse, but it's very startling. And so then I'm like, and they have to have these horses to get through the crowds because you can't drive a cop car, right? It's crazy down there. And so then I remember looking around, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Wednesday. What are these people doing? What does Saturday look like? Right? So long story short, right? I went and spent all the money. Now, what's the mistake? You're like, what's wrong? You said you guys got back to 20K a month. Here's the thing. That month we did 20. The next month we did 18. And every business owner ever who's been around for a while will tell you that there's cycles. It goes up and down, up and down. Even if you have a level of consistency, what happens is your level of consistency starts out here, and then it gets higher and higher and higher and higher. So you do have the big months and the big downs, but over a long enough time horizon, right, that starts to get higher averages and higher highs and low and higher lows. So there you end up making more over the long run, right? It's not a big deal when you come down. So I didn't know this. I was 23 years old. I thought I was invincible, right? I thought I was going to make a bunch of it. Maybe some of you guys have watching this video started like a SMMA or a business or a coaching or a brick and mortar or whatever, and you had a lot of fast success. Because the other thing is when you're new in town, everyone cares. They never had it before, right? There's a little surge of newness. But then also, the business model started to expose me. And I'll let you know. The business model you're in will expose you because at the end of the day, at every single business model in the world, there is one common denominator that all winners have, and that is consistency. I've been posting on this channel for months, almost a year, I think now. And it took until now to where we're starting to get consistent views, consistent people, right? But the thing is there's no promise that the consistency will pay off in the beginning. So this is the one of those lessons that if you don't allow consistency and the power of compounding to work, and you keep changing things, keep reacting based off of what's going on right now, it's probably going to be a struggle forever. So enough about the struggle. How did I get out of it, right? What did I do? So I'll tell you first, it got worse. We went from 20 to 18 to 14 to 12 to 10 to 6 to 2. I think my brick and mortar at the worst was around 3K per month. And I'll tell you, this whole time I had employees, we had cost of goods, and I had a family that I had to survive. And all this math ain't mathin', right? There wasn't enough money to pay for everything inside the business. So I decided we have to pull up my bootstraps. If you guys have been watching my other videos, then you'll understand what I did here was something different. I went to a training event where they said, okay, referral business is some of the best business you can have. And if you have a brick and mortar, here's a nugget for you. This is exactly what I did. I'll give you the whole playbook right now. This is just for the 1%ers who watch all the way through, and they're going to keep watching, right? I created something called a referral board. So I had put this giant cork board up in my business, and on the referral board, there were sticky notes just like this, right? And the sticky notes, like literally, they saved my business. Like I can't make this up. Making some sticky notes in a corkboard saved my business. So what we did is we put on the sticky note. Everybody who came in, you were allowed. We said, hey, we have a referral program. You can take a sticky note, write your name on it, and put it up on that corkboard you see over there. And then what you do is you write a 1, 2, 3. And if you send people in here to try something for their first time, then they can write their name on your referral sticky note. And when you get 3 of these, we'll give you a free service. Now, this is if you have a low ticket brick and mortar business, I just gave you the sauce. You can make this up. It doesn't have to be a sticky note. You can make a different way for that. It's just symbolic. But I'm telling you, this will give you the sauce, right? For referral business, right? So you're enrolling your customers into the vision of your company, right? This is why I also do the same thing for everybody inside of True Diamond Mindset, right? They can earn money by referring more people back to me, because that's the best type of business referral customer you can receive, is somebody who comes to you through word of mouth of another customer saying they had a pleasant experience. Okay, so by doing this one thing, my sales went back up the next month that we started to implement this to 8,000, 10,000, 16,000. To the top peak was $22,000 in gross revenue. Now, profit-wise, probably 6. Okay, this is a long time ago. It's 23, 29. Now it's been a few years. Unc is giving you the sauce. Okay, now pause. Right now, the fact is that I was in this place and we're like, dang. So I made the second mistake that almost all business owners make. This is what I'm trying to help you guys not do, right? I got successful, and then because I told myself that because I had been through that struggle, because I had went through that winter season, that I deserved a break. So that month that we did 22K, I also will let you know I worked 4 shifts, period. The whole month. I went to a vacation on Anna Maria Island. For the first time, I made passive income. I was sitting in a tiki bar with my wife, looking at the ocean, drinking a nice little margarita, and I looked down and I had made another $800 that day. And I tell you, that was a pretty good feeling. But what I didn't know is while I was enjoying my beach and getting into the comfy zone of self-sabotage, I had hired a bunch of people who didn't actually care about my product or my company and were undertrained because they had a poor leadership. They had a leader who just wanted to go celebrate winning instead of staying in the fire. I made the same mistake twice. That's the key. If you're watching, you're like, what's the lesson here? The lesson is stop making the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again. You know what happens when you do that thing. I don't know what that thing is for you, but you know what it is. Right? For me, it was hiring people when I should have just been working. For me, it was not training people and then trying to blame them for being the shortfall when in reality, it always comes down to leadership all the time. Right? That was the mistake. The mistake was thinking I was invincible again. Right? It was almost the same time next year. Didn't understand. So what happened? We went from 22K back down to 16, back down to 10. And then we floated around 5 until I eventually closed it. Right? So over a grand scheme of the year, that adds up to $156,000 in gross revenue. It was a great 6 figures, woohoo, right? But there was not a lot of profit in there. And it was a lot of headache. And it was a lot of up and down. And it was big months and then no months. And that sometimes is the reality of business. I know you guys see a bunch of people post on here. But the reality is it's up and down, right? All of us say something per month. It means we did it that month, right? It's not always going to be like that. Right. So in my second business, in my info product business, where we're at right now, right, is I got to the point where I was doing 2K a month forever. 2K info products. I was posting. I was running ads, spending money. I was doing all the things the gurus tell you to do, except for one crucial mistake. If you go back to some of my first videos, I left them up here as a warning to other people, right? If you go back to my first videos, they, one, are not authentic. I'm not telling any lies. They're all the truth. I just told you the full story, but what I say in those videos, I did over 6 figures, which is truth. What I say in those videos is that my network marketing team sells over 7 figures over the last couple of years that I've been in the business, which is also true. But you guys just knew that energetically, it was a lot of up and down. I thought I was rich, then I thought I was broke. Then I thought I was rich, then I thought I was broke. That's how business really is sometimes. So if you're going through that, listen, it's not just you. It's everybody. Don't let the Instagrammers fool you, right? Don't let them fool you. In my program, we don't talk about being perfect. We don't talk about trying to be always making money, always on top, blah, 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 blah. What we do talk about is reprogramming this So that even if things are not going according to your plan, you understand that your plan was never the plan in the first place. You understand that whatever it is that you're desiring, you're still on the way, that it's coming right to you. Guys, listen, I thought I was a failure. But the truth is, if I never did all that, if I never took that action, if I never failed, I couldn't even make this video you're watching right now. And if you're getting value, that means I wouldn't have been here to help you had I just been worried about failing or struggling or whatever. That's what that means. So I want you to understand that you maybe already have all the things you needed. Maybe it's a sticky note referral business for your thing, right? Maybe it's waking up at 5 a.m. like I do and beating the sun every day. 70 days in a row, get swole, right? Maybe it's reading more and putting more information. Maybe it's masterminding with people who are more successful than you. And success doesn't always just mean in money. Like, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're watching this video and you make 7 figures a year and you've still watched this whole video because you can identify into the limiting beliefs and you can feel emotionally that you're disconnected from your life, then that means success is something you still need to work on. 100%. Right? And that means that even if somebody makes less than you, but they're more happy, more fulfilled, more present, then you could learn from them. So maybe dropping the pride and going back to one and becoming a student again is how you get that. Maybe you don't need the sticky note. Maybe the business is fine, but your mind is all jargled up. And if that's the case, it doesn't matter how good you're doing. Right? I thought I was on top of the world, but I didn't know I was actively ruining my business. So maybe you're in the same place. Flip side, when I did fix it, when I flipped it in the info product, what is the lever I pulled there, right? I told you, the lever I pulled inside my brick and mortar was the referral, but really what it was is that I believed that the sticky note would fix it. I believed that this would be valuable. And so I took inspired actions out of faith, not fear, and believed that my shop would come back because I heard somebody else had done it. Right? So you could do the same thing. And then with my info product business, there was other lever. And I'm always warning you guys about this because I have done it. And now I know because literally everything changed. Like the last 2 videos have gone crazy. I'm expecting this one to go crazy. You guys have been going nuts, right? This only comes from being super authentic. I mean, look, bro, I look like homeless J. Cole, and J. Cole already looks homeless. I ain't got a lineup in a minute, guys, but this is real life. This is real. This is the truth. And so if you have a brick and mortar business or an online business, either one, they apply. Well, number one, first, get into faith, get into abundance, understand what it is that you want and that you already have it and feel what that feels like. Feel the feelings of gratitude before you get it. Seek the kingdom first, and then these things will be placed onto you. Ask for guidance, right? And you're going to receive some guidance. Okay, so then you might be called to take some action and take that action. But when you're taking that action, stay you. Be authentic. And not just the you who you think you are right now. Sometimes when I say that, people are like, oh, well, all these bad habits you're telling me I have that I shouldn't do are part of me too, bro. Why shouldn't I do that? I'm not saying that, bro. Be the real you, the higher version of you. Ask yourself, if I had everything I ever wanted, would I be doing this, X? Would I be acting Y? Right? If the answer is no, then no, don't do it. If the answer is yes, keep doing more of it and be thankful that you're doing that. And I'm telling you, following this simple, formula for success will catapult you way beyond where you're at right now. So as always, guys, thanks for listening to another banger. Peace, love, and prosperity. If you want to book a call and work with me inside True Diamond Mindset while there's still one-on-one and it's still this price, you can book a call below. I'll see you guys on the next video.